This is Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. The time is 9:02 a.m. and we'll let the record reflect that all supervisors are present at roll call. Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Okay, you can come up to the podium, please. And can I have your name, please?
Kathy Adair. I live at 21617 River Run. And I've lived there 21, almost 22 years.
Okay.
My husband and I had just built.
Why
and we love living here. My concern is with the CDD landscaping water. I've had mine turned off since July, and I still continue to get billed. I believe my meter is not being read, or they would realize that I'm not using the water.
What is the number on Wyndham again, please? Your number again on Wyndham?
21617.
Okay.
Okay. I had called and I spoke with Anna Bear, and she told me she would let them know whoever them is, and they would take care of it and adjust it. And so I did not pay that bill. In October, I got the bill that I was past due, plus another amount. I did pay that, and I did write a note suggesting perhaps I needed a new meter, or someone was not reading my meter. You know, I want this fixed.
Okay. I will have our staff go out and look at it. And if the meter is, if you have your sprinkler system off, you may have an underground leak. And I'm not saying that that's what you have. But
I don't think so. We
okay.
checked.
Okay, I will have them take care of it and get back to you.
Okay, I really appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Very annoying. I don't mind paying for something that I'm getting service for or using product, but this is annoying.
How many months did you say you had that on?
I've had it off since in July.
And these bills that you've been getting per month, what is the average bill then?
Sometimes this last one was that I got just the other day was 16, but I understand that for 2 months.
2 months.
And it's not even the amount.
No.
Right, no, but that helps me understand how much water is leaking out. When I see it really leaking out.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll have that taken care of, and we'll have someone get back to you on that.
All right, I really
Maybe a couple days.
I don't care. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeff Cribbs. I live at 21703 Lincoln Run. Two quick things. One is we've been also getting bills for irrigation and haven't used it since probably May or June.
Okay.
And it's about the same amount, like $16, $18.
Okay.
And I just echo what she said. I mean, it's not the amount, or if we used it, that'd be fine. We haven't used it since.
And that was 21703?
Yes, 21703.
Okay.
And then second thing is, we have, between myself and 2 neighbors, we have about 5 or 6 pond cypress trees at the lake's edge. The knees and roots are just all over my lawn, to the fact where they're killing all the grass. The knobs are up about this high. They permeate the entire yard. The paths are just a walk, let alone to have landscaping people or anybody coming by to fish. So John, Nick is, John, oh yeah, hi John, you came out, thank you for coming out. I didn't want to put a face with it. So John came out and saw them and sent me a nice email that said I would have to get your permission to remove the trees. I love trees, I'm a big landscaping fan, but it's just, I can't mow the grass there. They're not this high, like all over, as John saw them. So, John had helpfully mentioned that the neighbors a few houses up the street had removed them without permission and took a fine. So I want to do everything above board. I don't want to, leave any step out. So my family and I were willing to remove it. My neighbors on either side said they were also willing to remove the trees because they're having the same problems, not quite as severe as them. So, and John had suggested going to Sarah to get a permit, getting your permission first to remove them.
Okay.
We have no problem removing them or replanting them. The question I have before you, to give me some advice is, does the association have any, since they're kind of like in an easement here, is there any relief for homeowners? We have no problem getting all the roots removed, which will be $1,000. Is there any relief from the association to just have the trees cut down?
Okay, John, where are the trees? Are they on our property?
So they are within that 13-foot easement that we have around every bed.
Okay.
But from my knowledge and history, this is a right to protect your home issue. He does have a lot of cypress. This is like Mr. Popovich on Stratton, I mean, a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot. I understand the concern, but I just wanted to recommend to him, hey, there's a process, you need to, come to the CDD first, get their permission, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you still have to get permission from the village of Wisteria.
We also have to get an HOA approval.
HOC, so there's a lot of things that I wasn't even aware of the HOA.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
I have no problem going through the channel. I mean, it's just getting like...
But John, if the cypress are removed on our property, what has to be replanted there?
I'm not 100% sure. I would hope maybe Chuck and Tony from their past experience with other communities might be able to answer that better.
Chuck, if we remove cypress trees, this gentleman is looking to remove them, as the other guy did. And
Basically saying,
Going to have to reach out to the Water Management District.
Okay.
plus, what are the...
So who reaches out to the water management?
On the trees.
Who reaches out? We do? They do?
Send me your plan, your request in writing so I can actually reach out to him by email.
Okay.
And
Then we have that issue with tree count, which I think we're fine, remember, there's a tree count that we have to maintain.
Right, but now with our tree, and I'll give you his email. With the tree count, is it X amount of palms, X amount of each?
No,
It's just, again,
I can't speak on that.
Chuck will have to find out if it's a specific type of tree that has to be,
Just send me your plan. Some pictures would be helpful as well.
Okay, will do.
okay.
Yeah, we don't have any problem replanting or doing whatever we have to do. We're just trying to, because we'll pay for all the root removal, which is $1,000. We're just trying to see if there's some sort of relief from the board since they're right down the head.
Okay, send that information to Chuck.
Okay.
He'll reach out to South Florida Water Management. Once we find from them what we need to do, what needs to be replanted, you will have to get a approval from the HOA,
Yep.
Yeah.
which would be, and now, they're going to, and you need to do the approval, but they're probably going to say to you, that's on the CDD property, they'll turn it back to us, but you still need to go through that process. And then at that point, we can determine what needs to be done.
Okay, so you're saying there's a possibility you guys will remove the trees and then we will take care of all the stuff. It's not an easy.
And now,
I'm not going to say anything, but I know that that's not what happened to Mr. Popovich on Stratton.
Right.
Who had the exact same issue.
right,
Oh, he had to,
He had the exact same issue. He lived right on the corner, if not worse than your yard.
oh, and he had to pay for the tree removal.
yeah.
I don't think he removed trees, I just think he...
He removed all the
Had the stumps came in and they ground them down and...
Yeah, and John had mentioned that, but the problem is that it's not sustainable because what happens, they just...
They come back up.
Well, yeah, eventually, I mean, that would be a slow over time process because they would have to top, but you're right, it is something that 10 years from now, it may be an issue.
Well, and also the roots are into the plumbing system, are into the irrigation, they're up against the line, so they're even underneath.
Oh, yeah.
An issue.
Oh,
Okay, so first thing is just to email Chuck and then he'll take.
And then we'll contact you and work with you from
Okay.
that point
As long
forward.
as I know the procedure, I just want to make sure I do. it.
Okay.
I think it's good work, but thanks everybody.
Great, thank you very much.
What about the village?
We'll have to find out. You may have to contact the village to, well,
Oh,
no,
Sarah?
again, I don't know.
We'll start with the Water Management District.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll-
ARC will ask him to contact the village.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, we will. I mean, I'll take pictures and I'll send Chuck everything we have and then you can just kind of do it.
And then we'll
Sounds good.
follow the procedure from
Okay.
there.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John, thank you.
That's it.
Do we have any other public comments? Okay. The oath of office? Do we do that now, or should we,
yes, for you,
for me?
absolutely. Let's get
Okay.
you sworn in.
Okay.
And for the record, I'm a notary of the state of Florida and duly authorized to administer this oath. So if you repeat after me for the record, I state your name,
I, Eileen Huff,
a citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America,
a citizen of the state of Florida and the United States of America,
and being employed by or an officer of
being employed by or an officer of
Stony Brook Community Development District,
Stony Brook Community Development District,
and a recipient of public funds as such employee or officer,
and a recipient of public funds such as employee or officer,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida.
If you'd print your name in the first empty spot and sign underneath the oath and return to me. Since you are an incumbent, I will defer going through all the disclosures.
Okay.
You already filled out your Form 1 when you qualified, so
Yes.
you're good until this upcoming May or June when you will receive it automatically again. And I look
Okay.
forward to working with you
Okay. I'm here for 4 more years. Those are
4 more years.
Okay, we did that. Okay, we have 3 gentlemen that were interested in participating on the board, and I will ask each one of you to come up. We have your resumes, and if you would just like to come up and tell us about you. Lawrence Aher? Okay, he's not here. Okay, Craig Bruner. Come on up, Craig. Good morning, how are you?
Morning.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Let's see. You want me to just tell you a little bit about myself? And, yeah.
How long you been here, what your interests are in
Sure.
participating on the board? And
Yeah, I'm originally from Maryland, born and raised there. We bought a house in Stony Brook in 2014. We lived over on Knight and Run. Beautiful spot down the end of the street. But we also had a house in Maryland at that time, and we sold the house in Maryland, got everything Knight and Run, realized we needed a bigger home, so we moved to Langholm Run. We're 21525 Langholm Run. My work history, I guess I spent 30 years in the electrical industry. I worked for a company called Delmarva Power. We were in Delaware, Maryland, or Virginia. Started off working in a power plant, then went to the line crew for about 10 years, and then went into management, first line supervisor. Retired from them in 2011, but went back as a contractor, working with contract crews, and did that for about 6 years. My interests are, I have a boat, I like to fish, play golf here at Stony Brook, go to the gym, enjoy walking a lot. Used to play some, I play pickleball and a little bit of bocce. Strengths, I'd have to say, are work ethics. You know, I feel like I've got pretty strong organizational skills, reliability, dedication to a job. You know, I tend to be able to see what needs to be done and go ahead and just go ahead and do it. Accomplishments that I've had in the past is I've held a captain's license and an OPUV, which is called a six-pack license. Used to have a boat, and I would take people out for hire. I was a certified PADI diver at a time, and also had a CDL license that I drove large trucks. I could drive anything on the road, basically, from a bus to a line truck carrying a pole behind it. My interest to be on the CDD is I've been in Stony Brook, enjoy the community, plan to stay here for an indefinite amount of time, and just think that I could add something to the board since there is a vacancy here.
Okay. Any questions from you? Okay, thank you, Craig.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Adam?
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Adam Dalton, and I have put my hat in the ring to run for the vacant CDD position. I graduated from the University of Cincinnati in 1998 and continued my work as an aerospace engineer, financial auditor, leading mergers and acquisitions as a chief operation officer in Europe, and most recently running 3 of my own businesses in Southwest Florida. I've lived in Stony Brook for 12 years, first on Brixham, now on Stratham Loop. with my wife Emma and my children Luke and Ava. I'm familiar with the CDD projects that have been completed since 2010, and I hope my background and knowledge will benefit the community and residents. I will do my best to support community-related services and infrastructure, and I open it up for any questions that you guys may have of me.
Any questions, Phil, Chris?
Actually, Adam, you talked about you sold a business, correct?
Yeah, I did. I did recently sell a business. It happened in March of this year. It's given me more time to give philanthropically and do things like this, sit on the board.
So you feel like that would open up your time more than...
Indeed, yep. Anything else?
There's no questions? Okay, this is,
Thank you.
thank you very much. This is not a private vote, this is open. Since Larry's not here, it would be between Craig and Adam. I'm not sure how we...
I guess technically you could vote for Larry, even though he's not here.
We could vote for Larry, yes.
I don't think you have to be here.
No, you don't have to. I do know that Larry is a golfer. I do know he is a seasonal resident. We have his resume here. Gentlemen?
Well, it's not easy to talk about people in public.
No, it's not.
Craig's my neighbor, great guy. Both people are clearly qualified, and have a background. I can say personally, I've worked with Adam on committees. This was volunteer work. He's always been above solid. The amenities committee, he pretty much ran that, and made all deadlines, put things together that were usable information for the community. So I'm not saying that. I personally know Craig, again, great neighbor, qualified, but when I have to make a decision, I have to make a decision based on what I've seen and what I've done as far as who I've worked with, things that I've seen. And I can just say, Adam's done really solid work. Anything I've seen, he's done really well. So, I don't know if that's kind of where I'm coming from whenever I look at this, because it's, quite honestly, it was Phil. We had the same situation with Phil Simonson a few years ago, and personally, I'm friends with Phil, but I voted for Ed because Ed actually had run. Well, he had a finance, but he'd also run for. See, I don't know. You have to make a decision based on something,
right?
You know what I mean? And when it comes down to splitting hairs like that, so for me personally, I feel like I've worked with Adam on projects. I know what he's done, and I've worked with him. So personally, I would probably lean more towards Adam because I've got a history up there. That's
Okay.
my thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts are, I like Adam's finance background. I have spoken with other people that have worked with him on these committees, and I would tend to lean towards Adam.
Even though I'm in a tough situation because Craig's a customer.
Wait, Craig is not like bocce. I can't lose another bocce player.
No, I'm not.
Could rook you into that.
Adam does have a great resume.
Yeah.
So does Craig.
Yeah, they both do.
So I'm torn.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank both you guys for volunteering. It means a lot that people actually are. When I ran for the board seat a few years ago, I was unopposed. So it's nice that we have 3 people interested in the seat, and that's bodes well for our future. And regardless of what happens today with the vote, we want everyone involved, whoever doesn't get elected today. And in the future, there might possibly be another seat available. So stay positive, and thanks for both of you being here and volunteering. I was already leaning towards Adam because Adam had presented himself a few board meetings ago, and we were pretty excited about him volunteering at that time. And I don't know the other candidates, sorry Craig and Larry, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, so we have a vote. So those in favor of Adam?
Do we have to make a motion, or do we just
Okay.
vote? A motion to vote, or a motion to vote for a specific?
A motion for a specific candidate.
Okay.
I'd make the motion to vote for Adam Dalton to be replace Mike DeBrino, or however you want to word it.
Seat 4.
Seat 4, yes.
I second. Any more comments?
I can vote for Craig now.
Yes, you can.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Craig, thank you so much for participating, and I know when we need you for some stuff on the board, you'll help us out. And Adam, congratulations. You're a part of us now.
Make room for him?
You can come up here now, Adam, so we'll scoot you in here when you get another chair.
Do we not have as many tables?
Yeah, I don't think we have it. Okay.
How many papers?
Okay, you're going to sit between Phil and Phil. I have to get a little closer to you,
They
Chris.
don't like Phil and I sitting next to each other.
Too many Phils.
Seem tighter than normal.
I don't think
But they're different size, yeah, there's different size tables.
Yeah, it's a shorter
That's what it is. Like, I know we all fit in here
kids'
before. Yeah, yeah,
We're
exactly.
at the kids' table today. Okay. Now, does Adam have to take the oath now,
He
too?
does, yes.
Okay, Adam?
Mr. Dalton, I've provided to you a packet, and on the front of that packet is the oath of office. And again, for the record, I'm a notary of the state of Florida and duly authorized to administer this oath. So if you would repeat after me for the record, I state your name.
I, Adam Dalton,
A citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America,
citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America,
and being employed by or an officer of
and being employed by or an officer of
Stony Brook Community Development District,
Stony Brook Community Development District,
and a recipient of public funds as such employee or officer,
and the recipient of public funds as such employee or officer,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida.
All right, if you would print your name into the first blank in the oath, sign underneath the oath, and then complete the bottom portion below the dotted line, and I will collect that from you by the end of the meeting. And I will notarize it, place it in the public record, and it will also be provided to the Supervisor of Elections office here in Lee County.
Chuck, do I have to send my $10 separately, or do you send that one?
Nope, that's a separate one altogether. You'll notice the oath is different.
Oh, right.
That's a state version, and they want that one back in its original form. So
Okay.
if anybody's got those with them, I'll be happy to notarize them this
Okay.
morning.
Notarize it.
Yes.
Yep, I can notarize them, so.
Okay, I'll get that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, the state has a habit of not paying attention to improper forms.
Yeah,
They bounce it back.
absolutely.
What we administer is the legally prescribed one. What the
Okay.
state gives you is a variation of that, so
Because they want their $10.
they want their $10.
Okay,
It's part of their retirement fund.
probably. Okay.
Madam Chair, may I take a few moments with Mr.
Yeah,
Dalton?
I'm just going to run through a couple of things with him. I'm just letting him complete his oath there. Behind that, there should be a W-4. As a CDD board member, you're entitled to take $200 per meeting. After FICA, I think it's like $184. And if you would like to have direct deposit, just give us a voided check and we'll get that set up for you as well. Inside the folder itself, there's a few documents in there. One is going to give you a real brief overview of your duties and obligations. It's like a one-pager, 30,000-foot level, something to just kind of get you started. There's a Form 1 statement of financial interest in there. That is an important document that needs your immediate attention. That gets completed and filed directly with the Supervisor of Elections office. Since they're going to get your dated oath of today, they're going to be looking for that in 30 days. So the sooner you can get it to them, the better. You can actually complete that online as well. and transmit it to them by email, which you will get an automatic receipt indicating that you have submitted it to them, which is always helpful. Sometimes things get lost. Behind that is the Code on Ethics, also known as the Sunshine Law. Very important document. Just a brief summary of that. That's important in that document is not to have communications of any way, shape, or form with another board member on district business outside of one of these meetings. And it's any form of communication you can think of, from social media to texting to direct phone calls or direct oral, or using a member of the public as a conduit to try to determine how another member of the board, what their position is on any business of the district. The whole intent is that transparency and you coming to your conclusions in front of your constituents in a meeting like this so that they can see how you came to those conclusions on their behalf. Finally, with regards to documents, any documents we provide to you as custodian of the district, we keep copies of all that, meaning that anything we provide to you, you're not required to keep, but if you do, keep them separate and distinct from your business or personal files because they are public records. And if you become the subject of a public records investigation or review and they're commingled, you could subject your business or personal files to public viewing, so please keep them separated. We will be setting up a CDD email address for you, and we'll link it to your private email so you don't have to manage both boxes. But what that will do is anytime we send stuff to you, we'll utilize that email address and we'll store that on our server as a public record. So if you have communications with any of your constituents, if they happen to email you privately, just go ahead and courtesy copy your CDD email address, and that will run through our server, and we'll have a copy of that for the record. Makes it easy for you. So welcome to the board. I look forward to working with you, and turn it over to Mr. Peters at this point.
Chuck, thanks. This is River Ridge.
Oh, shoot.
You're at River Ridge now.
No.
All right, it's public information.
It's on the website, so.
If I may, Madam Chair, just
I'll have another copy.
if I may, just as a follow-up to what Chuck has mentioned, the two components that he mentioned, Sunshine Law, Public Records Law. The Sunshine Law is construed, strictly construed. The violation of the Sunshine Law can result in civil or criminal penalties. And also actions taken by the board in violation of the Sunshine Law can be set aside as being void, as they say, ab initio, from the beginning. So there are a number of cases where boards have engaged in Sunshine Law violations and entered into large contracts. Someone challenged it, a competitor, and the contract was set aside. That's happened numerous times. In addition, the civil penalties can be fines, as well as you end up having to pay attorney's fees, and the district cannot pay for those attorney's fees. The criminal violations are if the state attorney's office decides that you've intentionally violated the Sunshine Law. It's a misdemeanor. You can get jail time, probation, court costs, and the Naples Daily News, the Fort Myers News Press, all the media. Let me just go that loud. They love to have photographs of public officials standing in front of a judge with the caption, Mayor so-and-so violated the Sunshine Law, stands before Judge Smith. And so that's something that, Chuck and I and the boards always take very seriously. Our advice is conservative on that. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me. I'll give you my cell phone number. And with regards to, and as Chuck mentioned, any form of communications, anything that the court say reasonably, foreseeably will come before the board involving district business is something for which you can only converse with other board members that notice public meetings. I can do that very strictly, that anything you discuss today, you think you might be finished. Well, 3 years from now, it's going to come back up again. Mark my word. It happens in cycles, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, always comes back up. So the conservative approach is anything involving the district cannot communicate with any board member. Chuck also mentioned you can't use anybody as a conduit inadvertently or deliberately. If one of your neighbors comes up to you and says, hey, I was talking to Eileen about the Duffy's lease, and she said, you go, whoa, you can't tell me about what Eileen said. Well, I once had a Marco Island City Council member about 15 years ago. I was lobbying on a zoning matter. As we were leaving, he said, so Tony, I've told you what my position is. Can you tell me what the others have said? I said, I can't tell you. It's a sign. Oh, no, it's okay. You can tell me. I won't tell. I said, no, sir. But that happens, unfortunately, more than you want to realize. And as far as the public records law, it's construed liberally, different than the Sunshine Law. And as Chuck mentioned, any emails you get on your personal email, forward them to Chuck. And also, please ask people to email you on district business at your district email account. And it does make it a lot easier, as Chuck mentioned, in case there's a subpoena or a public records request, you don't have to go sort through everything. And recognize that, another story about that is the content of your emails. I know everybody tries to be careful, but sometimes they engage in words and have put in terms that they wish they hadn't put in there. So just be careful about that also. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yep.
And the other thing, Adam, and I know we've all done this, when I get information about the gas station going in or landscaping that I need the other board member to see, I email it to Chuck, and then Chuck disseminates it to the board. So if something comes up that you want the board to know, it has to go through Chuck, and then he will send it out. And then if we have questions, we'll respond to him. It's kind of gives him some extra work to do. You're welcome. Okay. Next. So you still want to stay on the board? Okay.
Feel free to speak freely here.
Yes. Okay, now in consideration of designating officers.
Yes, this is after any election or appointment, you're required to reconsider your slate of officers. Prior to the appointment this morning, we had Ms. Huff serving as chair and Mr. Brady serving as vice chair. You can choose to keep it as it was prior to the appointment, or you can shake it up. So what's the pleasure?
Keep it.
Is that a motion?
Make you chair.
Motion?
That's my motion.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm probably crazy doing this, but I do enjoy working on the board, and I have enjoyed working with all of you, even though the last couple of years have been nuts. Hopefully things will settle down. We're working towards that. Okay. Okay. John, you're up.
How about the rest of
Fine as well.
Vice Chair?
Fine.
Congratulations.
Keep it
Welcome
right.
aboard.
Do what?
Keep
Look forward to working with you. So, what's going on? We put in some new landscaping up at Duffy's and the Pro Shop. Everybody's seen that. Looking really nice. What else? We've also installed mulch. We did our mulch application, pine straw application throughout the community and golf course. We're also doing our second or third trip around, looking in the trees, looking for deadheads and stuff like that. Trying to get those cleaned up. We finally got that tree on 18 cleaned up for the guys on the range that fell in. Everything's looking really good right now. We're getting some heavy disease pressure right now on the golf course with this weather in the morning. It's been really dank and wet and moist, and what's coming up is not any favorable the next 3 or 4 days, especially a nice little cool, wet front come in. We've been spraying fungicides about every 4 or 5 days. It's kind of costly, roughly about $3,000 an app, but on average, what we got to do. We might see a little bit on the back of 13 and 12 right now, but that's it so far. But who knows what's going to happen after this week. We sprayed yesterday, we'll spray again on Friday. Also, I wanted to talk, well, we did some landscaping on 18 behind, I forgot the name. The singers, they sing her husband. Williamson. We cleaned out some beds there and painted. We had some extra crocus from the landscaping and throw shop, so we put them there. They look really nice. She seemed to be pleased with that. I wanted to ask the board about removing all the wall washers except 1 and 10. It's been a discussion lately in the industry, kind of talking about how just they're nasty and they're kind of, I don't know how many people really use them, and they're kind of an eyesore more than anything. They're expensive. New ones are, $300 to replace. They're kind of like a thing of the past, but I mean that's just a question. If keep any at all, I would say keep the ones on the first set of tees, because we do crossover. 1 and 10. But that was something discussion, Jeff.
I don't use them because they are nasty.
They come out. I've played golf for 30 years. I've never used ball wash.
I would agree.
You agree?
We will get some feedback. There'll be certain people that work ball.
by hitting the lakes.
You get feedback about
By hitting them.
not exactly pristine water,
in Florida, they heat, the water
that was
turns
part of the
quick,
game.
they smell within the day.
You gotta do it weekly, and after that, it's,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I would say take them out. I mean, we got pushback when we stopped with the styrofoam cups, and we got pushback with other stuff, so, and yes, you will. So, I would say,
I'm
Jeff?
fine with it.
Good?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep 1 in 10, or?
No.
No?
Okay. All right.
And my suggestion is, if anyone, just put your towel and wipe the ball off with your towel.
Yeah.
And we sell towels in the house.
And they're very nice ones as
Probably more
well.
sanitary than alcohol.
Yes.
I know it's a little ways off, but maybe in the future, we won't even have one. We'll just have to break the bond.
Little bit.
Wedge, you know, yeah.
Okay.
It's just, it's a dream I had.
I know, I
Oh,
know.
it was a full dream when I woke up. Other than that, everything's going good. The tree removal on back's doing good. We had a little slow period there. Drew with the shoreline was waiting on a piece of equipment to come in, which didn't, and it's not, so. But to his chagrin, he's got more people out there, other pieces of equipment. So we're hauling off. It's moving. We're now on, what is that? Is that Burwich?
Burwich.
We're on Burwich now. We're going, went as far as we're moving the.
So you're starting from Wyndham and coming out?
Right, because that's where we, once they cut everything, they hand it up there, so we're just kind of zigzagging back.
Yeah. And John, once all the trees are out, we're going to grade the land?
It'd be great, we got to fix some irrigation. Last week, we actually hit a 10-inch pipe that comes from Miramar. There's a 10-inch pipe that had a 2.5-inch stub out on it, and we hit that. And which was odd, because I know that we don't have any water line back here, so we called D County, they there's a 10-inch stub out, there's a valve, they shut it off real quick. And then they went and located the other ones for us, just for future why. It comes off of their property on ours, so we know where they're at now, so that's no big deal. But yeah, once we get everything removed, we're going to go back here and fix any irrigation needs to be fixed. Got some light, cut out any roots that may have been left in the ground, kind of clean that out, and then grade it, and resod what needs to be resod, and then from that point, I know that's probably going to be a long, lengthy.
Well, we have to work with the HOA.
Work with the HOA and then work with Miramar.
To do the wall, and
to do
then
the wall.